Morning guys, GTS Garage. Today we're going to do something again slightly different off the bike. We're going to fix the HEED crash bars to the Triumph 955i. So what attracted me to these bars more than any other bars, and there are some very good bars out there, is the fact that these actually come up and they actually protect both the engine and they come up over the edges of the tank. So in effect, in a low crash, I'm going to say they're all low crashes and drops. In a low crash or drop environment, what you'd end up with is it slides on the crash bars, which is exactly what you want, but keeps it off of the keeps the damage off of the tank and the engine. Now these weren't too expensive. They were I think they were about £120. They were shipped from Poland. The reviews on them are fantastic. So basically we're going to go through the process. So what we're going to do is I'll go just through the bits that you get in the pack. So we'll just go through the bars, we'll go through the attachments, and then we'll look at the positioning on the bike where you're going to affix the bars to. So this will be the first time I've done this. It's bound not to go as smooth as I would hope, because these things never do. But let's crack on. So in the kit itself you get 2 engine bars. So they are packed much better than this when you get them. But I have 2 engine bars. And you get the supporting bit in the middle. What else do you get? Just get a set of instructions, albeit a page. And you get a set of nuts and bolts. Okay, so this part here is going to fit to the subframe down there. You can just see that little arm there, and that's where that's going to fit. You'll get a better view from below. So that is going to fit up here across these 2 supports there and there. So there's 1, there's 2. So that part fits along there. Now I will be putting some Loctite on those. Let me just get that into position. That's what back both of those are. And then end up. Right. That's one. Let's move on to the other side now. So you need to leave that fairly loose, and when I come back I'll put Loctite on these. So if you're on the left hand side of the bike, you're going to need a T or a Torx set, a T55 for that, and then over here you're going to need, that's your second mounting point, and that is going to be a T55 for that one. To finish this job, you are going to need a 17mm spanner on the other end. Preferably the right direction. That is now enough. Get that bolt out. Right. There's a spacer in there to keep everything from that kit. And you are going to need a 17mm, and you're going to need a T55 to do that task. And the replacement is going to be that one. So, as you can see, slightly longer. I hope you could see that anyway. This is where it pays to definitely have small fingers, I think. And a spanner that does that. Oh, I've definitely put that on the wrong way. So, you definitely will need spanners that do that. See if I can do that with my hand now. Not quite. Come on, here you go. So, first thing to do is obviously remember, don't undo the other side at the same time, so just do one side at a time. This is where you're going to need small fingers. when you're putting this first bolt on, don't forget to put the radiator mount on as well at the same time, because you can forget to do that. Oh, it doesn't look. Okay. Oh, come on. It's going to be a fair amount of swearing in this one, I think. Right, one side done. Now for the next. How they look. So I think what I'm going to do now is actually do the second one. I probably won't video it because it's exactly the same as the first, and then I'll bring you back when it's complete. Okay guys, that's the side mounting on. Now we're just going to put the connect the bolts underneath the radiator. I'm just going to put that through there again. I'm only going to do it lightly, and you'll notice that these are the self-sealing or the self-locking. So what I do is I'm still going to put some Loctite on the threads, but not yet. I'm just going to kind of push those through and connect them. That's one. Okay guys, that's it. Just a quick walk around to show you all the parts. Okay. Okay guys, back in the garage. So basically we're going to do an overroll of the tools now, overrun of the tools, an overview of the tools that are going to be needed to complete the job. And the reason we do that is because what we don't want you to do is rush in, take stuff off, and then realise you can't put things back together again. So the tools that you're going to need to take the bolts out of the bike, you are going to need a torque set of sockets, or an star Allen key or a torque Allen key, and the size you need is the 55 version, so it's the biggest one that I know of, so you are going to need that. You are also going to need a 17mm spanner, and I use the one with the flexible end on the end because the ratcheting time, because to be honest, sometimes they're just bloody easier. So, especially if you're short of room, that's a lot easier than trying to get a good wristful. So, they're the two that I use to take the existing bolts out, and you will need a brake bar probably, because the ones that come out are fairly tight, so you will need a brake bar. So that gets your bolts out, and now it comes to putting them back in. Now, the kit doesn't come, they're not going to ask you to put the 17mm back or the T55 bolt back in, because they've given you new bolts, and the bolts are slightly longer than the ones that came out to take the frame thickness. So what you are going to need a size 10 Allen key to get the bolts back in. So that's a size 10 Allen key, and you are going to need a 19mm spanner. Now when it comes to the 19mm spanner to put everything back in, because you are so short of room, to be honest, if you haven't got a 19mm spanner about a foot long, same size as about that, you are going to struggle. basically there is no room. You need small hands. I read a review and it said you are going to need small hands, and he was not joking. The poster was not joking. You are going to need tiny hands to try and manoeuvre your way around the radiator, because it fixes at the back of the radiator. If you've not got a 19mm spanner that is long and that you can put through the bottom of the bike up and behind the radiator and then turn and then just close on, you are going to struggle. There is, I tried a number of ways. I've tried socket sets, I've tried extension bars, and to be honest, it seemed that the bolts or the nuts on each of those bolts at the beginning just behind the radiator, they're not easy. So if you do not have a foot long 19mm spanner, either buy one, get one, borrow one, or I would suggest you may end up having to take the tank off to finish the job. Now, it's not particularly difficult to do, but it's going to add at least another hour to the job. You are going to need Loctite. You're also going to need a torque wrench. Now, because these are engine bolts, because they actually go into the frame, I'm going to assume they're engine bolts as well, or certainly they are supporting bolts. You need to torque them to the correct spec. Having a guess is either going to wring them out, you'll end up wringing them out, or you're going to end up jiggling them loose. These, the bolt ones that go into the engine are 80 Newton meters. Make sure you torque them up, and I threw some Loctite on just for good measure. But they're the engine bolts. The other ones are just a 13mm and a 13mm, and you also need a size, and I want to say a size 6. So is it need a size 6 or a size 8 Allen key to do the bolts that go underneath the headlights, and then again, the underneath the headlight one is a 10. No, sorry, the underneath the radiator grille is a 10, and the one that's underneath the lights, I believe, is a 6. I believe is a 6, but it's a much smaller bolt. Other than that, I think that's about it. It is tricky, the job. You're working in confined spaces, so it tends to be fairly cramped. You tend to scuff a lot of your knuckles, but that is just the name of the game. The easiest thing to do is just take it along to a garage and get the Triumph dealer to do it for you. I don't know how much that would cost, but it's probably about an hour and a half's worth of job by the time you take everything off, because I would imagine they will take the tank off. They're not going to mess around with nuts and bolts. They will just take the tank off and do it, but that adds another hour. Not quite sure what it is. It's what, 70, 80 pound an hour. I reckon it's going to cost you about 150 quid to put the bolts on. That's what they would charge you. But they'll have the tools, they'll do it, and it's nothing to worry about. They'll torque it all up correctly. But if you want to have a stab at yourself, that is how easy it is. You're just going to have to be prepared to be patient. And that's about as easy as the job is. I hope you're going to find that useful. I hope if you're tempted by the Heed bars, especially for the Tiger 955, they look to be a fantastic bar. And the other thing they seem to do is give you lots of room. So I'm looking for maybe some few little saddlebags that can go inside the frame, and maybe first aid kit, maybe punch and repair outfit can go in there, whatever. But that's what my next purchase will be for the bike, without a shadow of a doubt. As I said, I hope you found this interesting, hope it's of some use. You take it easy, GTS Garage out. Take care, bye bye.